What's going on, podcasters and YouTubers? This is Hav here, one of your hosts from the Real Fan Review. Today with me, we got my brother, your brother B.
What's going on, everybody?
We got our man in the chair, Al.
How's it going, everybody?
Yes, man. And listen, we hope you got the chance to enjoy the Super Bowl there. It was terrible. Not because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won. Spoiler alert! If you didn't see the Super Bowl,
I don't know.
I don't know if that works for that one.
No, good.
But it's just I expected a closer game, a closer matchup. I'm personally a Giants fan, so I could care less who won.
That was the only reason I liked that Tampa Bay one was because of JPP being on the team.
That
was it. That was the only thing. Yeah, man.
Absolutely, man. But what we're going to talk about today, guys, is we're going to talk about those Super Bowl trailers. You know, every year those Super Bowls, they put on movie trailers. They spend $1 million for those 30 seconds. So we'll give them a few minutes of our time here. We're also going to get you all caught up with the WandaVision Episode 5 review from us, talking about all the things we've seen and some of our thoughts, our theories of what's happening in the show. And then we'll get into, possibly, if we have enough time, we'll talk about some of the movies that we've seen in a couple of weeks and tell you if we recommend anything. So let's get right into those trailers from the Super Bowl first. So during the Super Bowl, Al, we had Raya and the Last Dragon. We had Fast Furious 9 trailer, which was like a little short 30-second thing. We had the M. Night Shyamalan movie for Old that I did not know was coming. Yeah. We also had a trailer for Coming to America 2, which is Coming to America. And then we also had the one that everyone's talking about, which is the the Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer. It might as well be Captain America. Yeah. It looks like they're both trying to get.
I want to call him Captain Falcon all the time. Falcon punch.
So, I mean, out of those trailers out, did any one of those like kind of stick out for you or did anything to you?
Yeah, man.
Yes,
Old.
That's the one.
Yeah, Old Kid. That was the one that got me, the M. Night Shyamalan. Me and my wife. Yeah, my wife was watching the Super Bowl with me. We both saw the preview. And before it even said M. Night Shyamalan, we looked at each other. We go, when we watching this? And then when they showed that he was the one that made it, it just solidified it.
Yeah, you already know let's see what the twist is.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh my God, Brandon, how about you, man? Any of those trailers stand out for you, or if anything?
Oh, definitely Falcon and the Winter Soldier, man. That was incredible. That was like the definition of what the kids say lit is. That was lit.
Oh, okay, lit. He said, that little girl kicked your ass. Awesome, man. Yeah, for me, the one that stood out also was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I was really surprised because I heard there was rumors that there was going to be a Venom 2 trailer. I heard that maybe even Mortal Kombat was going to be put out there.
It kills me that like there was a lot of Twitter news about, hey, we don't have a trailer dropping today, but here's the date for our trailer coming out. Like, no, I want the trailer now. Give me a trailer. Like, why are you going to do that? Like, Shang-Chi was like, oh, we don't have a trailer today. It's coming out in, like, next month. I don't care. Put it now or not.
Yeah. What's it do for me today?
$5 million.
Yeah, man. I was really surprised that there was a lack of trailers during the Super Bowl, which kind of like, you know, as a movie fanatic, it kind of let me down a little bit. Excuse me. And then also on top of that, besides the no trailers and the commercials are kind of a little bit weak, the game itself was weak. So,
forget it.
Yeah, man. So it was pretty it's tough. But again, the one that stood out for me was the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Once again, it looks like Marvel is making these great looking series that look like movies. Mm-hmm. You can see the banter between Falcon and the Winter Soldiers continuing from Civil War, from all the movies that they've played in together. You see that the way that they talk to each other is pretty funny. So I'm just looking forward to more of that and seeing their interaction and going against things. Now, Brandon, if I'm correct, man, I mean the girl who was beating him up was beating the Winter Soldier up was somebody that had like a handprint on their face mask. Now I know the hand is supposed to be part of the evil ninjas that go up against Daredevil and Elektra and all that stuff like that. From your knowledge, is that something that's going to be a play? Is that the hand that we think of, or is this something just different?
I think it's gonna, Marvel does this really cool thing of tying in everything.
Right.
So we're hearing the rumors now of Charlie Cox being in Spider-Man 3. So I wouldn't be, caught by surprise if that kind of property shows up somewhere else. Now, I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be another one of our Marvel villains that shows up with U.S. Agent.
Gotcha.
I wouldn't be surprised if something like that did happen based on where they're traveling to.
Okay.
Gotcha. And how about you, Al? Man, did anything of that trailer stand out to you besides the staring contest and
Just the dynamic that they're setting up between the two of them. Because
Right.
I don't remember, like during the show up until Endgame, I don't remember there being that much interaction. Then again, Captain America was always in the middle, but I don't remember there being that much interaction between them. So it's
Yeah.
cool showing that there's already that kind of back and forth between them. I mean, they're already going
Yeah.
through therapy and counseling.
I like how they took the shot in the trailer of Sam throwing the shield and then Bucky catching and throwing the shield too. So it
Yeah.
seems like
Oh,
there's going
wow.
to be a bit of animosity between them two of who essentially takes up the mantle. Because
Right.
we know it was given to Sam, but maybe Sam feels like he doesn't deserve it, and then Bucky might feel a certain way. So I think that's going to come into play in this show.
Ah, come on, B.
Yeah.
In Endgame, Bucky was like, go over there. He knew who was giving him the shield.
Yeah.
But now that Cap's gone, he's looking at Sam like, yo, you got wings, like whatever, I can throw the shield, like. And now we got Sharon Carter coming back.
Yeah, definitely. I
Agent
saw Sharon
13.
Carter in there. That's gonna be awesome to see, man. Now, listen. Besides the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Al, you said Old was another one that you liked as well. Brandon, was there a second thing that you liked as well?
I would say honestly, it's just gonna have to go to Old because Raya and the Last Dragon looks fun, but wasn't crazy. Fast 9, I think we've seen bits and pieces of that same trailer for the last 3 years now.
Right.
And that was really it. Old caught me by surprise because we weren't expecting that, number one. And then number two, you got this weird premise of everyone on this island is growing old. Like they're getting older by the minute. And so now you're looking at M. Night Shyamalan. You're like, okay, what's the twist?
Yeah.
Or have they always been old? Or they all have dementia? And then you're kind of like hoping, like, listen, don't ruin the ending. Just don't ruin the ending. Stick the landing.
There you go. Stick the landing. Yeah, when I saw the trailer for Old, the first thing that came to mind, of course, was going to be Lost. You know what I mean? Because that's just when you see a beach and people like going crazy and they don't know what's going on. That's the first thing that comes to your mind is the TV series Lost. For me, another one that kind of stood out was Coming to America, the second one. It's so weird. You say Coming to America, you got to say the number 2 in the middle. But but it does look a little funny. I personally prefer the first trailer over this one. This one kind of made me go, oh man, I could kind of see why it's on Amazon. So I'm hoping for the best.
Yeah, they disappointed me that it seems like they're going with that whole premise that he's coming because of an unknown son. Because it's like kind of destroying the whole mood of the first one. Because if the whole first one was about him meeting his queen and getting to know her and following her and all that. And now you're trying to say in some scene that we never saw, he went off and made a kid with some random person on, like, nah, now you just kind of destroyed the whole love story of the first one, so to speak, almost.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens in this one, man. I'm looking forward to it still. I'm still going to watch. I think it's coming out in March.
Yeah.
So is it March or this month?
No, March.
I think it's March.
Yeah.
All right. So March, we'll definitely have a review out for that one. But yeah, man, I mean, those trailers, like I said, usually there's a whole bunch or some like crazy ones that are coming out for the summer. But I guess people are still being like, they're not even sure if what's going to be happening with the COVID crisis here and everything. So we'll see what happens. But hopefully we got our luck up. I was hoping for Shang-Chi, Venom,
something,
Mortal Kombat, nothing, man. Wow.
Yeah.
Just like the damn.
You're like 5.5 million is a lot of money. we haven't made a lot of money this year. 5.5 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, but a lot of companies must have pulled out because there was more commercials for CBS itself than for almost anything else, man.
Yeah. Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
Okay. CBS All Access.
even like Doritos was like, I don't know about it this year, guys.
Jesus,
I
talk
didn't
about
see not
falling
one
flat.
Budweiser, Heineken. Like I didn't see nothing.
Oh, man. Just nuts, man. Just
Yeah.
nuts, man. But listen, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening on your favorite podcasting app there, what was your favorite trailer of the Super Bowl? And did you enjoy the Super Bowl? I know I didn't. So if you want to just let us know, comment below or email us at therealfanreview@gmail.com and let us know what you thought about those Super Bowl trailers and the Super Bowl. Now, let's get into something that's a little bit more exciting, a little bit more riveting there, and that's going to be WandaVision episode 5. Oh
Mm-hmm.
my Lord, it is just getting better and better and more mysterious, and things are not being answered. So before we get into this, guys, just to let you know, we are going to go to spoilers on this one. So if you haven't seen episode 5 of WandaVision episode 5, please pause us, come back to us. Or if you don't care for spoilers or you saw the show, just listen up and see what we have to say about WandaVision episode 5. And this is I think that the name of this one was on a very special episode,
Yeah.
which is like the title of old episodes whenever things were going to go real, quote unquote real, in the 80s episode. They would put that as a title so you knew something was going to happen that was deep, or somebody's friend was going to get drunk or something with drugs. It's just craziness. But one of the things we were all worried about a little bit was, now that they did episode 4, where they showed us the complete other side of what was happening from Westview, how were they going to do the sitcom and also Sword at the same time? Now, Brandon, watching the episode, what do you think of the way that they handled both the outside and the inside of Westview?
I thought it was perfect. The segues between them, like even like in the beginning of the episode, how they used the TV screen as a means of transitioning the scene. Like you have Wanda and Vision. That's when the scene is ending, and they pull out of the TV, and now it's Sword's watching the TV. Like I thought that was a great way of segueing into another scene and transitioning those parts. I thought it was great the way they did it.
Yeah, and how about you, Al? What did you think of the way that they handled it? Because I feel like this was one of the longer episodes. They kind of split it evenly, like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there.
Yeah, first, before the episode, I think even last week I said it, or I was thinking at least, that I was afraid that they were going to do that, like go back and forth, and it would kind of confuse the episode. But like Brandon said, like I think it helped the continuity because you got to see what each side was doing at the same time. So like as something was happening on the show, so to speak, in WandaVision, you saw their reaction to it in the real world. So it kind of let the story keep flowing without having to retell what was happening during events you saw earlier in the show. So I like the way they handled it.
Yeah, man, I think so too, man. I think they did a good job because, listen, I thought this episode wasn't as good as the 4th episode, but it was still something like mysterious and really, really good, worth watching over and over again. Like the last 2-3 episodes, I think I've personally watched like 3 or 4 times each one of them, and it's just I could see myself watching both of those episodes again either tonight or tomorrow. So it's insane. So I mean, let's get right into the beginning part of this. We have the twins are now born, and they're in the, I would say, 80s era where we have growing pains, we have family ties, and possibly a little Full House going on in there.
Yeah.
And we have this scene now where she can't control something that's happening. It looks like the twins are crying and she can't stop them to cry. And I noticed that she sent Vision off before she did some magic. She told Vision to go get some of those, what are they called? I call them bobos, but I don't think that's what they were, pacifiers. Binkies. But, she sent them off so that she could use her magic to shut them up. Dude, if I had that skill when they was kids, man. But, it didn't work.
Nope.
And I think there's something to that, man. I think there's something to the fact that, she's trying to use magic, or her magic that she's using to do everything else in this damn show. But there's something with those kids that when it comes to them, she can't use her magic. What's your thoughts on that, Al?
That was one of the questions I wanted to see where they're going with. Like, why couldn't she control them? And it was going to one of my other questions. It's like this episode changed a couple of my theories. So as to what, like, to your point, if she's supposedly controlling everybody, why couldn't she control her own kids? And then even when
Yeah.
she tried to control Vision later, why couldn't she control Vision? So if she's the one doing all the controlling, how come it didn't work when she actually tried to do it?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Just throwing off some things there. How
yeah,
about
yeah.
you, B? I mean, what's your thoughts? Any kind of like theories on that, or
I'm a little confused by Billy, because in the little 80s montage they did at the beginning of the show, Billy was the only one that didn't have like a life progression. Like,
Mhm.
you saw Tommy go from the baby, you even saw Vision go from a baby form to like an adult.
Oh,
But
so weird, so
that was
weird.
super weird. But Billy was the only one that only had just the one picture of him. He didn't have any transitions, and he was also the baby who was just kind of like, oh, there's a second baby, you know. And Billy was always kind of weird in the comics too, but it kind of seemed like Wanda accidentally manifested him.
Huh.
But I'm getting like Mephisto vibes from Billy,
Oh,
because like even the way Tommy talks to Billy about the dog when the dog is in the sink taking the shower, the bath, like Tommy's talking to Billy in a way like a kid would talk to somebody, but Billy's kind of like stoic and unsure, and so like, I mean, I don't want to call him like the special needs child, but like he kind of seems like not there.
mhm.
There's something up with Billy. Both of them, yeah. I feel like they're both manifestations, but something more so with Billy than anyone else.
Gotcha, man. Yeah, I'm interested to see how they keep going with this because it does seem like when the stork was in the living room, she couldn't brush the stork off. She couldn't make it disappear. The stork did what the stork wanted to do, and
Mm-hmm.
then I guess that was symbolism for she's not going to stop these kids from coming. Now the reason I'm seeing this with her, with the kids trying to stop them from crying, just I think Agnes comes in and says later on, you can't control kids. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, okay, let's see what's going on with that. Which brings us to now, the kids are there, the babies at this moment in time, and Agnes comes in to kind of like save the day, and you see that Vision kind of finds it weird that she just happens to show up a little bit, but he doesn't say anything. He just like, oh, you see him rush off to the side to cover his face so that he can change his face to be a normal looking face.
Mm-hmm.
And you have like, I think this is the first time that it was a little bit like where Wanda couldn't rewind or didn't stop something and change it. She kind of just let the weirdness happen
Yeah.
and kind of hope that everybody moved on. And it was the first time where we see Vision like almost like you didn't see that? Like, did you not see what just happened here? And
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was pretty interesting because, it did seem like Wanda didn't give a fuck no more. Like she just gave up now. Now she's like, I'm not pretending anymore almost, and she didn't even get to that part yet. But later on, there's a point where she says she's tired of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm kind of interested in that. But, I find also something very interesting that happened in that same, besides the argument between Vision and Wanda, but then you also have that Agnes is around when something else weird happens, which is the kids grow up 5 years.
Mhm.
Insane. So it was like we
Mm-hmm.
skipped the whole baby period. And, there's people in the online theory saying that when she was spraying the lavender, it was like a mystical magic thing. And also there's something to like Agnes always showing up at the right time, right? When Wanda found that red helicopter, Agnes came away to take her attention away from it. You know, when Geraldine was talking inside the house, she's the one who told Vision, why is Geraldine in there?
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like there is a lot more to Agnes than we all think and know. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure if she's something she's the one that's pulling the strings, but she definitely knows more than what
Oh yeah.
she's giving on. What do you guys think? Like, B, what's up with what's your thoughts now with Agnes now after watching, 5 episodes of this? Where's your theories on Agnes going?
I agree. Like, that we had this idea that she was like Agatha, she was that Marvel villain. And it's starting to kind of seem more apparent because, first off, we have the whole she's the only one without an ID kind of a thing. She's the only one they couldn't recognize or pin down. But also, it seems like whether Wanda realizes it or not, Wanda is more comfortable with Agnes than anyone else, even at times more so than Vision. You know, and this is someone she doesn't know, but is portraying her friend. You know, like in this series is her friend. You know, how was Agnes chosen to be Wanda's friend? You know, so like it's just she's out of nowhere the closest person to Wanda other than Vision. Where so now all this magic's happening, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I'm cool with it." Like she broke character in front of Wanda, and Wanda didn't freak out. You know, like even if Wanda couldn't rewind time or do whatever she did before, Wanda didn't change or didn't freak out or get mad or anything because she broke character like Geraldine did. You know, so like, why are we so comfortable with Agnes? Does she know she's that comfortable with Agnes?
Yeah, I mean, Al, what's your thoughts on Agnes? Because I kind of agree with Brandon on this. There is something with their relationship that one, Agnes keeps popping up every time there's something that's needed, and then also the comfort level with her.
Yeah, no, it plays into my theory that Wanda is, again, man, she's the one that can manifest everything like physical. Wanda has that ability, but Agnes, I think, is the one that's in everybody's heads. She's the one controlling what everybody thinks, what they know, how they play out the story. So kind of like when Norm got broken out of character, he never said Wanda was doing it. He just said she.
She, yeah.
You had Wanda say, I don't know how this all started. You think I can control everybody going to dinner and lunch and this and that? So I think, and then even with that, like this, like you said, this was the first time something happened unscripted where Wanda didn't just either blip it and restart it, rewind it. And I think that was because Agnes didn't want her to. Like, I think she's trying to drive now a wedge between her and Vision because she wants Wanda to focus on the kids. So now she's trying to create a wedge. Everything before was, to motivate her to have the kids for the children. She brought her a rabbit, which, like, I forgot, but somebody reminded me, is a sign of fertility and production and so forth. So, like, she was like giving her.
What was his name? Senor
Scratchy. Yeah. So so I think she's the one who's coercing Wanda to think a certain way so that Wanda can then manifest what Agnes wants her to manifest. And she's using the whole premises of these shows and stories to like help Wanda hide her grief, but really to manifest what Agnes wants her to, which was initially the kids, and now who knows what it's going to be next.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. And it's around this time where now they switch over to the the sword side of things. So we get to see what their aspects of what's going on their side now. And we get to my new favorite trio, dude, is Monica, Jimmy, and Darcy. Dude,
they're great.
They need their own show, dude. They're awesome. First of all, Jimmy was way too happy bringing that coffee to the office. But I find it like there's such the good guys or the good people of the team. Like, even when they're having this discussion regarding, what happened to Monica Rambeau as far as like what she was feeling, she says that she felt pain and she felt like uncomfortable. She felt like some kind of like she was drowning almost, but she refuses to blame Wanda completely as this evil person or this bad person that's doing these things, and then you see Jimmy's, way of explaining how Wanda came up. And then you also have who I told you guys was a bad guy. Let's see. We have director Dick. They was kind of call him
Dick Hayward.
He's trying to describe Wanda basically as a terrorist. So it's kind of interesting what's happening there. And there's just something that's just off. And again, when we first saw him on the screen, I told you guys, I was like, bad guy. It like, for instance, the video that came up out of nowhere all of a sudden, and I found it interesting. You could see that Wanda came in there to take, Vision from them. How did she know Vision was there? Did she get a heads up? And there's things that happened along the way as well. So, Al, what's your thoughts on what happened on the sword side of things? Anything that stood out to you, regarding the trio or even the director?
Well, there was a couple things that happened. One, I think they're alluding to Monica's abilities. I think in the show, in the
Yeah.
comics, she's like photon, because like her X-ray didn't show anything; it just showed like a glow. Her blood work came through with nothing. So I think they're referring to her having abilities, and they just haven't manifested or shown themselves yet. Um, I laughed at the fact. Well, they alluded to there's a rift between Monica and
Oh,
Captain Marvel because she
yeah.
didn't want to talk about her. She's all praising what Wanda could have done to Thanos, but when they said, "Oh, I think that Captain Marvel could have handled him too," she goes, "Oh, we're not talking about her," and moved it on. Um, and I get like at first I wasn't thinking Hayward was like a bad guy, but you can't ignore the fact that when they were talking and they go, "Oh, he's such a terror," and then you hear him say terrorist. So like as if to say he's a terrorist. So I was
Right.
like, all right, that's like the way they would have done it in the show. They're doing it now on the real side to let us know, yeah, he's the terrorist.
Yeah.
But even more so, like you said, that video, like they were talking about, oh, how she stole him against his will, but it seems like the sword themselves was doing something he wouldn't have wanted because it looked like they were like
They had him in pieces.
doing something on him.
Yeah.
Yeah, either they were taking him apart to make him a weapon or make weapons out of him or maybe
Mm.
whatever they were looking to do. They were obviously looking to do something that, because think about it, this was 5 years after he supposedly passed. What do you have him in pieces on operating tables for,
Hmm.
if not to do exactly what you were saying he didn't want done? And now you're making
Right.
her look like the bad guy. What if she went there to steal him so that didn't get done to him?
Right. We don't know, right? That's the kind of like the mystery of it is that we could see it two ways. We could see that she stole them from them, or we could see
Hmm.
him that she rescued them from him.
Yeah.
Like it's all in what they show us next and how things came about because I want to know how did she know that Vision was there. Now,
Yeah.
Brandon, all that Al was saying, any of those stand out to you besides the fact that it looks like Monica and Jimmy both have copies of the Blu-ray of Endgame?
It looked like they were right there. There was some good reporting.
Yeah.
Apparently, there were drones recording this shit, but
It was really interesting with the because I just watched Endgame. I just finished watching it like 20 minutes ago, and it was interesting at the end of Endgame at Tony Stark's funeral. You had Wanda and Hawkeye standing together, and Hawkeye is reminiscing about Nat, like I wish she was here. I wish she would know that we won. And Wanda, teary-eyed but with a smile, she was like, "Oh, she knows. They both know." And she obviously is talking to Vision, so you can see like she
she's at
doesn't have.
peace.
She's at peace.
Yeah.
So she was at peace. So what happens? How does she find out where Vision is? What caused her to go to this from that ending? What I just saw, she was completely at peace with understanding that Vision died for the better good, and they redeemed themselves. They won. So what was the casting stone that caused all that to happen? And then I think the cool thing is like we're between the three of them with Darcy and Jimmy and Monica was them talking about Wanda's associations. What's her name? What's her this? What are her powers? And they're like, have she ever gone by something else? It's like, no. So you can see like kind of growing on like, oh, we're gonna start calling her the Scarlet Witch soon. Like she's gonna get her name. They're gonna say what her powers are because like they were talking about the Hex, and
Uh-huh.
the comic books is Hex, like so like they're starting to actually develop Wanda for her. So I think that's really cool. Like from like our point of view, like we're naming the superheroes, like so they're doing that for us. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Oh, I was just going to ask you guys. Do you guys think Monica, as we were saying, that she knows an engineer that can help them? You think that's like a prelude to anything, or like any guest star
Has to
or
be.
anything?
Has to be.
Because I hear everybody talking, oh, that's the way how they're going to introduce Reed Richards and the Fantastic Four.
Dude, if John Krasinski shows up on this show as Reed Richards, I'm gonna pause the show, go run a lap, call Sanj, run another lap,
Uh,
and then go watch it. Reed
I'm
Richards.
There's
You
a
better
lot
stop
of
it right now, Al. You better stop it right now.
this episode
Richards.
has so much setup because there's that line, and I'm like, Fantastic Four, Reed Richards. There's a lot of evolution being thrown in this episode. You know, I'm like, oh, evolution is the third
Oh
time.
yeah. The Dante, that he was reading Dante, right? Not
Yep.
Dante. What's his
Darwin.
name? Darwin. That's who I was
Yeah.
thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, so funny, man.
There's so many nods to evolution. I was just like, oh shit.
Oh my God. See, of course, I watch a lot of these things on YouTube about what it could possibly have meant. And one of the things that did make sense is there was an aerospace engineer named the Blue Marvel. I have no idea who this character is, but if they throw him in there, why not? But dude, if this is Reed Richards' entrance, I swear to you, I will run a lap around my neighborhood screaming, "Holy shit!" But also, that brings us to one of the cool scenes there, because this is now sets in turn the best 5-10 minutes of this show is the middle part of this show, which is, Monica gets an idea of how to get back into there, but then she thinks about her clothing that she wore into this universe, and she doesn't tell us what's happening. She just walks off, grabs a gun, cool way of grabbing the gun and shooting it off. And you see that the material that she wore is actually turned into this, 70s outfit that she was wearing on the show. So the Kevlar, the bulletproof material just transformed. So they're saying that, what? She's rewriting reality to be whatever time period they're in. And I guess with them noticing that they're in the 80s, they must have had drones in the 80s. Now, I personally didn't know they had drones in the 80s. That's crazy. I thought drones were 2000 for Afghanistan, but apparently they were in the 80s. And, you get one of these cool scenes that, again, I think says a lot, which is they send this drone, they find Wanda, and they try to talk to Wanda. Wanda doesn't respond. You see the eyes glowing red. And sure enough, the director makes a look at somebody on the side and takes over the drone and says, shoot the missile. When he said shoot the missile, out loud, I said, oh, shit. Because I did not expect that to happen. I didn't think they were going to take a shot. I thought they were about to kill off Wanda Maximoff. I was like, what is happening? And sure enough, it goes blank. You don't hear anything. And this is where you get Wanda Maximoff. Jesus, playing the role. She's amazing. Yeah. Brandon, please take it away, Brandon.
She just willed the portal to open with the drone coming by her side. Like, I think this belongs to you. Full accent and everything.
Full accent.
Oh, the accent's back.
I feel like when she has the accent, she's evil. Don't play around Wanda.
She's that Age of Ultron Wanda right there. Like,
yeah.
That was crazy. She turned the guns on Director Hayward. I was like, yo, take the shot. Take the shot. Take the shot.
Dude, if you watch it again, you look at how scared he looks when those guns are pointed at him. Al, tell me that wasn't an homage to Magneto, Al.
Kid. I mean, she even came out with the colors and everything. Like, she didn't come out how she was in the show the way Monica came out. She came out in her her Scarlet Witch outfit from the show, from the movies. So yeah, like you said, she was there. She was there not to play around,
not at all.
Yeah.
And did you guys notice when she said, I have everything I need, and she looked at the director to threaten him specifically. And I'm saying that doesn't look like this is the first time they've met.
Yeah. And the fact that she targeted just him when she had the gun. Like, she didn't make half of them point at her, at Monica, and then the other half point at the director. She had them all point the guns at the director. So as if she knows he's the enemy, not both of them.
So this is why I wanted to ask you guys, because I was thinking about this on my way home from work today, was, do you guys think that there's something going on with the director as far as he may even know Wanda and is trying to prevent her from saying something? Because with the whole take the shot with the drone, it's like, that was a little excessive. Like, I can get trying to bring her in and everything, but take the shot means you're trying to take this person out.
Yeah.
right? Then on top of that, when she's talking to the entire sword people, she's looking at him directly.
Hmm.
So I'm wondering if he's trying to stop her from either saying something, or there seems like there's something more between those two.
Yeah.
You know, what's your
I
thoughts
think
on that?
I think he was there the day that she went and got Vision and saw what they were planning for him. Because like
Mm,
Al said, I think they were trying to weaponize Vision, and I think when she found the place, he was there and she saw the plans.
right. Absolutely, man. And Al, how about you, man? What's your take on the director and Wanda?
Yeah, something happened because I think all of this is happening, what, 3 weeks after Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So something must have happened between them. Somehow something came up between the two of them. Either in her search for Vision's body, because Sword would have had the body for 5 years, but she probably was spending that whole 3 weeks looking for it, and then
Mhm.
somehow found out that he was the one who had it. And that's why she was pissed, saying, in essence, letting him know, I have everything I want. Like, I have it. And that's why she probably said so, and nobody's taking it from me again. So meaning, like,
Mm,
you took it from me, and now I got it. You're not taking it back. You're not
right.
taking it from me. So I think that's going to be the history that they're going to allude to. That's one of my theories, that was the
Yeah.
history, that she found out that he took Vision's body and was doing all that stuff in that lab.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I think there's a lot more to that story between them two. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they show, because I think we have 4 more episodes left of WandaVision. So it's going to be interesting, these next 4 episodes, especially when we talk about the last part. So, let's get more into it now. So, she goes back into Westview, but she also, before she goes back into Westview, it looks like she puts either a tougher barrier or some kind of red glowing force around that whole Westview anomaly there. That's what they're calling it, the Maximoff anomaly there.
Mm-hmm.
And we have now another scene now where we go to Vision. So now Vision's going to work, to kind of, like, I guess, get away from the little argument that he had with Wanda regarding her showing her magic in front
Mm-hmm.
of Agnes there. They had an argument there. And while he's at work, I guess he discovers the internet for them. So they get the whole AOL, screeching going into the computer system. And, I thought this was a little weird, which was, while they were reading the email, it seemed like everybody in the office was reading the email at the same time, which shows some kind of, like, not antenna, but there's something with them all reading or feeling the same thing at the same time. So it's almost as if they have an antenna, that they're all getting fed whatever's in their brain. To me, that's what it came off across, So I wonder if it's one central person, one central thing that's controlling everybody, which is definitely taking me away from the thoughts that Wanda's doing everything by herself. She's definitely not, in my opinion. You know what I mean? I think there's somebody else or something else or another group that's at play here that's doing something, because even when I forgot the guy's name, the employee that Vision was working with, when he freed his mind, when Vision kind of freed his mind with the 2 fingers there,
Norm. Yeah.
You saw Norm saying, he's in pain, he can't get her out of his head, and that, he's worried about his family. He wants to call his dad and all the stuff like that. And I'm like, Wanda, may be grieving and may be doing these things to kind of have her life, right? With Vision, the kids, the house. We'll talk about Sparky for a second, I guess, and it just seems like there's somebody else doing that, because I just, I don't, not that I want to assume the best, but there's nothing that I've seen that says that Wanda is willing to people in pain. This guy said he was in pain.
Yeah.
And even, for a split second, Monica Rambeau said she was in pain also. And I don't know. I just don't think that she would be a part of something like that. So B, what did you think of Norm and what he was saying? And what's your theory on, like, my theory of the antenna kind of thing, that everyone's getting fed the same thing at the same time?
I feel like, Agnes is, like, I think she's the central person. I think she's taking whatever her power may be, is to take that pain from Wanda and use that to control everybody else. I think Wanda made the bubble, but Agnes is taking Wanda's pain and feeding everybody that as a way of controlling it. Maybe she's maybe she's spreading out that will per se, to everybody in a way of keeping controlled. Because like, the it's interesting. Norm, out of being controlled, started freaking out. Obviously started freaking out. Help me, this and that. Norm getting back into control. Act like nothing. But then like you start to see how people talk about Wanda outside of the office, to each other. And you can't I had to look back at episode 1 to see how people talk to each other and how they're actually all really talking about Wanda the whole time. Like as much as they're talking about their job, they're talking about how she could do this and that. Oh, your wife is so great. They just think about it. Episode 1, Vision had just got the job, but all of a sudden had a date with his boss, to come meet his wife. His coworkers talking about how great his wife is, even though this was his first day on the job, and then you get into this episode and you have Norm who, once he's back in, talks about how great everything is and all the, how's your wife doing, blah, blah, blah. So it always goes back to Wanda. So I feel like whatever Agnes is sending out is to relate or feel a certain way about Wanda. You have to love Wanda. And that's kind of hitting them in terms of a pain type of receptor.
Gotcha. Yeah,
and even how the way the mailman talks about Wanda later on to her kids, that was another thing.
Yeah. The mailman was kind of talking a little grimy. Don't worry, your mom will find him.
If there's anyone who can find him, it's your mother.
I was like, your mom, bro.
Deal with my fucking mailman. Talk shit.
Oh my god. Yeah, and Al, man, after that scene, we get into, I think what happens, is because of that whole drone thing. There's a dog that gets introduced during the show. I think Brandon mentioned it really quick that there was a dog in the dishwasher there. They kept him. They named him Sparky, which is an homage to the comic books. They had a dog named Sparky for Vision's family, not Vision and Wanda. It was Vision had a whole what is
Synthoid
Vision? He's a
something?
Synthoid. Yeah, so he had his own Synthoid family there. So they had a dog named Sparky. So it was nice to see it. But we get this whole thing with Sparky running away. And then he gets found in Agnes's bushes, and he ate some poisonous leaves there. And, Al, I think if anyone noticed something like this is going to be you, brother, is the fact that the kids keep mentioning Pietro, kind of, or not necessarily Pietro, but they said, Mom, you had a brother, and then this whole conversation about bringing somebody back from the dead or bringing back the dog from the dead there, I think it was all kind of it's almost for the children. You know what I'm saying? It was all a mind play to kind of get either her open to the idea of bringing her brother back, or they were sending the message that they were going to bring her brother back. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, that's what makes me feel like that she's not the one. Even more so made me feel like she's not the one in control. It's being made to look like she's the one in control, but she's not. So somebody else is doing all of this bringing back from the dead, but because everybody's attributing everything to Wanda, they think she can. So like B was saying with the mailman goes, oh, don't worry, kids. Your mom won't let him get too far away. Meanwhile, the dog dies. So if she's supposedly the one that's so much in control and powerful that she wouldn't let the dog get too far away, how did the dog die? And to me, who finds the dog? Who's the one holding the dead dog? Agnes. So I think Agnes and maybe whoever she's working for is the one who controls, bringing people back from the dead. And at this point, they're wanting her to now more deal with that they're dead. Like they're trying to get her to come to terms with, okay, yeah, no, they're dead. Because remember, that was the lesson she tried to teach the boys. She didn't let them age this time because she was like, no. Sometimes things are permanent and you have to just deal with it. Because I'm wondering if this is, again, now they're trying to get her and separate her from Vision. And just have her move on. No, settle, move on with death. And when she wasn't ready to, we have the end of the episode. So again, it just made
this
me.
Was go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it just really made me more so think she's not in control. Someone's controlling everything and making it seem like she's the one that's doing all this.
Yeah, definitely, man.
Yeah. So I got some huge Mephisto vibes from this scene. Just for the fact, and like, I had to think about this the other day because I didn't think like, I don't think they'll ever go Mephisto route. But then they went to the Dormammu route. So if you can go Dormammu, then Mephisto isn't out of the realm of possibility.
Right.
And so my thinking was, Agnes may be the person that is controlling Wanda, but Agnes isn't the overall person. I think that Mephisto is essentially the manifestation of the kids, and the kids are telling Wanda, "No, you can bring someone back. You can do this, that," as a way of getting Wanda to bring Mephisto back. Maybe if Mephisto was locked away or something, or his body is gone, and they understood that Wanda's powers are strong enough to revive him somehow. So I think that they're using the kids as a way of planting in those thoughts in her head, like, no, you can bring people back. If anyone can bring them back, you know how to bring people back to life.
Right.
So I feel like they're like, oh, do it, mom, do it. So I feel like they're always adding a level, because I know we're going to get to the Pietro thing, but I feel like there's always a level of, no, you can always bring somebody back kind of a thing. So I think that Mephisto in the grand scheme is trying to get Wanda to revive his body or revive him somehow.
Oh, deep stuff.
Mhm.
And again, before we get to the Pietro thing, which is something that's going to be worth talking about, forget it. That's crazy. But let's get to we get to the next scene where Vision is back with the family. He sends his condolences to the boys about the dogs. And then we get to the scene where he's in the kitchen with Wanda. He's washing his hands. Real tough conversation of what the hell is going on, and this is the first time I see, Vision, like, put his straps up, but dude, he got checked so lovely by her, because I thought it was so funny. So they start the argument regarding what's going on. Why is she, so loose with her magic, and why is she, is there more that's happening, good. That's fine. And and he's like, you can't control me like you control everybody else. And she looks at him and she goes, I can't. Dude, that was so amazing. When she said, like, oh, I can't, I was like, oh man, Vision, shut up. I know what comes next after that line. Jesus. Oh man. And then you see what's and it's funny because, like, she says I can't, and she like, roll the credits. This show's over. And it's funny because you're literally watching the credits as Vision's like, you know what? No, I feel something. And sure enough, they go to the next room and Vision's facade goes away. It's the real Vision face, everything. And they have a real legit argument. And you know what? Not for nothing, man. Paul Bettany killing it as Vision. When he starts talking to her all crazy and she says it, you've never talked to me like this. And he says, because I'm scared. I don't even know what happened in the past. I can't remember anything.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows something's weird and something's going on. And it's so funny because they're both getting so angry that they start floating. And I thought the magic was going to happen. I thought we was going to have a show off of the Mind Stone. Oh, forget it, man. Before we get into like the next part of it, like, what did you guys think of that argument? I thought that was so well written and so well done, man.
That was great act. That was literally great acting. Even like you said, Paul Bettany. Like, I mean, I feel like I know Paul Bettany isn't an unknown actor, but I felt like I'd never really cared for Paul Bettany. Like,
Right.
Even when he started at Vision in Age of Ultron, I'm like, all right, like, he did a good job. And, as we got to see Vision, I was like, all right, Vision fucked up. He shot Rhodey. Like, all right, he didn't do anything good. It wasn't until my man got his skull crushed that I was like, oh, shit. So, like, I never really cared so much for the way Paul Bettany acted as Vision because he was always so minor. But, like, that one scene where he, like, literally the second he said the word, like, the line, like, he's like, Wanda, I'm scared. I like felt that. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, that was great acting.
Mm-hmm.
That was beautiful acting. And then her counter of just being angry about the way he feels. That was
Mhm.
crazy. You know, she instantly started lighting up, ready to fight him before he was ready to fight her. I was like, what?
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
It really was. And I mean, what'd you say? I mean, because he even called her out. He goes, Wanda, why are there no children outside?
Yeah.
Every day I walk past this street at 9 o'clock and there's no children in the playground.
Hmm.
Oh, dude.
But no, but to your point, like when they were fighting, sometimes when you fight, you just talk and you just yell what comes to mind, and it let Wanda show that that's when it showed that she's not the one controlling this, because she even says, "You think I can control? I can control when people go to the dentist, when people can do this. You think I don't," and then she even says, "I don't even know how this all started." Like, so she's acknowledging
Yeah.
she don't even know how this all happened. So to me, that just shows this isn't her. She didn't create this. She's just and kind of like what I think she even asked him in this episode, like, isn't this enough? And for
Right.
her,
Yeah.
I think this is. So whoever created this knew that this was going to be enough to get her to want to stay there and
Right.
do
She has
whatever
her husband. She has children. She has a house.
she has the
living with
life she always
neighbors.
wanted. So it was
Mhm.
going to be enough for her to do whatever she needed to make sure it continued. And I think that's what's happening. And this is where it's starting to crack and show that she's being manipulated as well. And that's what's
Gotcha.
frustrating, is because now everything is slipping away, and everything she wanted potentially could slip away too, because Vision's fighting with her, and that's something that's never happened, and it's making her confront a lot of stuff. So
Absolutely.
and like you said, the way it was acted out was good. You really felt like they were just going at each other, not in an angry way, but in an emotional way, and
Yeah.
it manifested in them just displaying their powers, and they didn't even realize they were doing that.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely, man. And we get to the next scene, which is there's a point where it seems like we're gonna get some kind of like finally maybe an answer to, because it seems like they were about to get real with it. Like he's asking all the questions. Why don't I remember anything? What
Mhm.
is going on? Why does it seem like you're in control of what's happening? Why does it seem like every time we're gonna have a tough conversation or we need something, someone shows up? And sure enough, man, doorbell rings. And she goes, I bet you think I did that. And he goes, I'm not even using statistics right now. He's like, I'm not even using statistics right now. And this is ridiculous that someone just rang the doorbell while we were about to have this conversation,
Yeah.
And sure enough, she goes to the door and she has a shock look. And we're all trying to figure out, I just assumed it was going to be Agnes coming through the door. And, you see the back of the head. Now, when I saw the back of the head, dude, I lost my freaking mind because I thought it was Magneto. Dude, I thought it was Magneto. I was like, don't do it, because I will lose my shit.
I will run around my block.
I will raise hell up in his house if that's Magneto. Holy moly. And sure enough, they turn back around, and they sold this so well too, because she was looking, she's like, looking, you see the back of the head, then you get Vision. Wanda, who is this? And then you see it's freaking Quicksilver from the X-Men universe,
Mhm.
which is a complete different movie universe and completely just does not make any goddamn sense in any way, shape, or form.
Because she says Pietro,
Right. She called it out first. And the fact that Pietro showed up at that moment when they were having that discussion, that argument, that sealed the deal for Hav. That is it for me. It is not Wanda controlling this.
Mm-mm.
Somebody saved Vision from finding out the truth right there in that moment. Somebody sent that Pietro over. And
Mhm.
it's weird because she says Pietro, like she kind of like assumed it was him without knowing it was him. It's just like that's a lot of like layers there. I don't even understand that.
Even Darcy's like, they recasted Pietro.
I mean, seriously, man. Like, I just need to know what you guys, because I haven't asked you guys, so I want to know what's your thoughts, because I go back and forth with this, because Marvel has been known to play games with casting and with certain things to make sure that, we all read the comic books, but he wants to surprise us still.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that he's using the character that played or the actor that played Pietro in the X-Men universe, I don't think this is the Pietro or the Quicksilver from the X-Men universe. I legitimately think they have just a different person, a quote unquote actor in this show that is playing the role or recasted as the Pietro from our universe or from the MCU universe, which is a little tough to digest all that, right? But bottom line, I don't think this is from the X-Men universe. I really don't.
No.
And if anything, I would almost agree with Brandon about Mephisto, and I think this is Mephisto personally. I think this is Mephisto. I also think this might be the because Jimmy Woo didn't see the video yet. I think this might be the missing witness that he has in witness protection. So we'll see about that, but because they didn't say anything, but I think that might be the missing witness that shows up. But I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts? B, go ahead first, man. What is this? This Pietro from the X-Men universe? What is going on?
You know, I had to rewatch it a couple times because the first time I watched it, I was like, you know, the way she said Pietro caught me off guard because, like, listen, you could see anybody with silver pepper hair, like, you know, like, and be like, I don't know who you are, but she distinctly said Pietro, you know, so my first thinking was just like she willed somebody from a different universe here, you know, like she manifested Pietro here, or something manifested Pietro here, you know, because it was odd that, like, if I see somebody on the street who is 6 foot, Latino, and had a Caesar haircut, I'm not gonna say Javier, like, you know, I'm not gonna think a guess. That could be any man who's Hispanic, who lives in New York. Like, you know, like, I'm not going to just guess. So, like, the fact that she was very specific in saying Pietro, even though it looks nothing like Aaron
Taylor Johnson.
Aaron Taylor Johnson, you know, looks nothing like him. Just the hair, you know, was a little fishy to me. But then I also see, to your point, like, I feel like this is the missing witness because she, you know, she had the question mark, but wasn't so sure, you know, because I think she almost saw it too, like, Pietro, like, you know, I saw it that way, which makes me feel like this is another manifestation to let Wanda know that you can bring people back. You know, like, I feel like now it's just getting deeper and deeper. Now you've made kids. Hey, look, your brother's here, Vision's here. You've made this. Look what you can do. So I feel like this is his way now of elevating it to, because you saw how emotional she got about losing him when she talked to Geraldine. Now I feel like this is like the nail in the coffin. Like, look what you can do, Wanda. You know, you can bring people back to life, you know?
Yeah, but so then why wouldn't she bring back the Pietro that we all know? Yeah. Why this one? You know what I mean? That's the weird one.
And that's what I agree too. So I feel like that's what they're trying to kind of get along with. I feel like he is the missing witness. But I feel like by having a Pietro look-alike, you know, you've now have Wanda questioning what she can do. Because she knows how strong she is, I think. But now she's seeing that I may be even stronger than I thought. Maybe I can bring people back from the dead because, you know, we saw Vision as kind of dead Vision or white Vision, you know, so maybe that might get the wheels turning. Like, I can fix you. You know, you don't have to be the way that you are now. I can make you the way you look right now. You know, so I feel like this is going to be that nail in the coffin to let Wanda know, like, I'm stronger than I think, kind of a thing. Even though she's not the one controlling it.
How about you, Al? What's your thoughts, man? Who is that guy at the door, Al?
See, I don't know. I'm going to have to watch the episode again because I think, doesn't he say, there's something about hugging his sister and squeezing her to death or something, and then she goes, Pietro?
So she says Pietro first, and then he
says that? Okay.
That's why I got confused.
Because what stood it with me was the fact that she said, like you said, she says it guessing. Like, okay, you look like him, but you don't. So, to me, the way I took it, and I'm taking this situation, is that she's playing along. She knows somebody's setting that stuff up for her and moving it along, but she knows that's not the real Pietro, because think about it. She almost broke down about Pietro when she was just remembering him. If you supposedly now see him standing in front of you, why didn't she have a more of an emotional response to her dead brother standing in front of her now alive? So I think that the recasting was somebody being used from the town to play the brother, made to look like him, and she's going along with it. You're like, okay, now I even have my brother back, like just to soothe her grief, and she's just going along with it for that purpose. But to your point, she knows that's not the real Pietro, and I agree with you, Hav. I don't think he's going to be like another Pietro. I think he's either the missing witness or somebody else from town that was used to play that character, and now he's being cast as Pietro. But he was just somebody that happened to be around and available, either the missing witness or just another person in the town.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I'm just curious to know why she was so willing to accept someone she knows is not her brother. She just, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So,
and that's why I think it's more of like, that's how, I don't know why they're making, I mean, to what Brandon said earlier, she seemed at peace at the end of Endgame. So what happened in the 3 weeks that she's this so willing to just accept any replacement of what she lost to satisfy her grief? Something must have happened that made her lose that peace that she had at the end of Endgame, and now need all of this to satisfy grief. Because even Monica said it was like an overwhelming feeling of grief that was holding them down.
Right.
So,
yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. I'm really, really looking forward to episode 6, episode 6, and then we still get 7, 8, and 9. I mean, at this point, Marvel, just take my money, just give me all 4 episodes next week. I will pay the $30 plus. I will pay the $50 plus. I will go as high as 60, and then I will wait otherwise. Take my money. Insane, man. So listen, man. The podcast went a little bit longer than I thought. I should have known better talking about WandaVision with these two guys. It's gonna be something like we can't stop talking about. So you know what? We'll definitely try to aim to give you some reviews next week for some of the movies we saw, because I actually did get a chance to watch Malcolm and Marie that came out on Netflix on Friday. The longest argument I've ever seen in my life. And then I also saw The Little Things with Denzel Washington and everything. And I want to tell you guys, whether to watch it or not. So, we'll leave that for next week for sure. We'll save some time to go over those movies that we did get a chance to catch, and also maybe some of the shows we got to catch. So we appreciate you guys. We gave you something to look forward to for next week. I promise you, we'll give you some movie reviews next week. All right. Along with our review for WandaVision episode 6. It can't not be this crazy again. It can't. I just don't see it.
It's getting worse.
It's only going to get crazier.
Oh,
It's getting crazier. Oh, man. Listen, coming in from Long Island, New York, you got ourselves the Real Fan Review. We got my brother B.
Adios.
We got our man in the chair, Al.
Have a good night, everybody.
You got myself, Hav, thanking you, as always, for watching us or listening to us on your favorite podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit that plus button on your podcast stuff. Listen to us. Every week we're putting out some kind of an episode regarding our popular franchise movies and their little subset series on Disney Plus. So, just join us, subscribe, like, comment below, send us an email, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Until next time, later.